Welcome to Survive the Unexpected with your host, Frank Pacino, and my best friend, Amanda Bryan. Today we're talking about episodes 17 through 19 of Big Brother 2. This is Nicole's first HOH reign.
Yes,
It's actually probably the most exciting HOH reign since Hardy's first one with
I
Shannon.
agree. I agree with you. Yeah, her winning HOH was a like she didn't even want to win for one because she knew that she'd be put into a spot and have to expose some cards, and it definitely happened.
Mhm. I think Ken's HOH reign was eventful as well, but I think Shannon, the one with Shannon went home, and this one was more impactful throughout the game, and it was a lot more drama, a lot more things happening as well.
I agree. I think that for one, she did great at the comp. She did just exactly the way she needed to, is exactly what she did. And I thought that her nominations made sense and were smart.
Yeah. So left off with her winning, and she kind of had to win because it was down to it was, I think Krista went before her and was
Mm-hmm.
in the lead, and then Bunky was after her. So she knew
I
that there
think
was a
so.
chance if Bunky wins HOH, she's for sure 100% going up.
Mm-hmm.
If Krista wins HOH, there's a good chance that she goes up next to Bunky because
Yeah.
she's not putting Monica up. She's not putting Hardy up. And I don't
Mm-mm.
think she'd put Will up. So I think it'd be Nicole. I think Krista's nomination would be Nicole and Bunky, to be honest.
I would agree with you. I think you're right.
So Nicole probably didn't want to chance that. Bunky probably would have for sure put up Hardy and Nicole.
Yeah. I think
Or at
he
least
said he would
Hardy.
have. I think
Yeah,
he said he would have.
yeah. So it Nicole had to win the HOH once Will got knocked out pretty early. So
Did Will try at that one? I forget.
I think he gave it okay effort, but I don't think
Yeah.
it mattered to him at all.
It's
Uh,
yeah, he never has to win. He never wants to win, even though he's like technically like the house perceives him as being on the bottom, even though he's not on the bottom. But like they just like I'm surprised that he doesn't really try to look like he's trying to win to keep himself as like a bottom.
See, I think the only person that would have for sure. I think the two people, the only person that could have won an HOH this week that for sure would have nominated Will was Monica, I believe. I think Krista would have nominated him. Nicole obviously didn't nominate him. Bunky definitely probably would not nominate him. It wouldn't have made any sense.
No.
So I think Will knew his position in the game. I think Monica's the only one he's not super close with at this point in the game.
Well,
At
I
least
think
some
it's
kind of
because he know. I
connection.
think it's because he knows that Monica is would figure him out really fast.
Yeah.
I think he keeps Monica at a lovable distance for a reason because she's a very real person and he knows that he can't really bullshit with her like he can everybody else.
And I
If that
think he's
makes
a
any
little scared of
sense.
her too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I guess we should just start off with episode 17. Bunky's a little upset about Kent leaving, and he voting him out. I still think that he should have voted with him just to keep him, just to save face. But you and I disagree on that point. But we were only halfway through. There's only 6 people left. I think it's crazy this cast only had 12.
I know it's gone on forever. It's
the
felt, I mean, it's probably because I'm so used to Survivor going so quickly, and that's what I've watched majority of the past however long, but I just feel like it's going so slow for only 12 people. And there's some Big Brother seasons that have 20.
no, I think the most is 16.
Oh, was it 16 is the most?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think 16, 17, 18.
They really don't
I
ever do 20.
I don't think
We
yeah,
can't hang on
guys
that
up to one.
long.
I think they could if they put enough double evictions. The only thing I don't want with Big Brother is night one evictions. Those are the worst.
Yeah, I don't enjoy those either. And I think the people that usually are night one evictions, if they would have stayed, it would have, the butterfly effect would have changed for that game. That's
Yeah.
usually the way it happens.
Hmm.
Um, but back to
Back to where we are.
Big Brother 2. Um, I think Nicole's aware of how connected she is with everybody. And when she won that HOH, she wasn't as she was kind of worried about winning. She kind of didn't want to win.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to win because she hadn't yet. And she wanted the family stuff and like her personal stuff. But I don't think that she wanted to win because she has to make a decision and she knew it was going to be hard.
Yeah. Uh to me, I think Nicole wanted to skate by, but she needed to win because everybody had it. I think besides Will would have put her up. Bunky would put her up. Monica would put her, maybe Monica, and so she probably knew her position that she kind of had to win. I don't think she might have went home, but she would have been on the block, and that's something she didn't want to do again.
No,
She does have one-on-ones
she
with
hasn't been on the
everybody.
block since week 1, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
She has one-on-ones with everybody. How do you think you would do the one-on-ones with everybody?
Is close, you know what I mean? I personally, I don't think it's a good strategy. Not in newer Big Brother. Now, for older Big Brother, before the game evolution really evolved and people started, really studying the game, I think that, yes, I think that it wasn't a bad idea. I think it made her seem like she was confident in her win. She probably knew who she was going to put up, but she wanted to give everybody a fair shot in their word. And I think they respect that back then. Newer Big Brother, I think it'd be considered egotistical and cocky if people wouldn't like it.
I think this deep in the game, it's not that big of a deal because
Yeah.
there is 5 people left that she can nominate.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that she's not nominating Hardy. So realistically, there's 4 people she can nominate. And so like she just want to give her, I think what she should have did was the way she approached it wasn't the right way, in my opinion. Like she should have had the one-on-ones, but the way she talked to them was like she laid too much her cards on the table to some people, especially Krista. When you're gonna nominate her, she laid out a lot of cards to her.
Yeah.
If you're considering nominating her, don't give her all this information that she can then use against you because you put her on the block.
Well, and I think too, like, see, and I think that's also part of difference of like old brother versus non old Big Brother, is that back then they took the personal relationships way more into consideration. I mean, those people are close and they consider each other close. You know what I mean? Like more so than a final 6 and even Big Brother seasons that go longer. You know what I mean? So for them, like Bunky, like we'll get to this later on this podcast, but like when Bunky, was crying after voting somebody out because he literally could not take the emotional pressure of it because he really, really cared about that person. Like you don't see that now. And I think that had a lot of part of their decision making, throughout this season was emotion 100%.
Yeah. Like, because I think she did tell Krista too much information, and Hardy and Will were both upset with her. So I think she's the one who's in the power position. So you're not the one you're supposed to lay out your cards. They are supposed to lay the cards out for you so you can see their cards and read them and then decide what you want to do.
Right.
But she looked like she came across like she was playing the defense when all reality she should have been playing the offense. And that's where my issue with her is. And Monica does an awful job with her one-on-one. She pretty much says, "Oh yeah, I know you're a threat and you're dangerous in this game." I'm like, "Girl, like stop." And she's like, "I know me and Krista are a pair and we're a threat." And I'm like, "Oh my." She does not do her or Krista any favors.
She's too real for the game. She can't put a fake on. Mm-hmm. To get her through. But to be fair, it's gotten her this far. Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, she could have been in a very, very easy, first 5 boots. Well, I keep on forgetting this cast is only like, 12,
yeah,
but
5 boots was 1 boot ago.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because Justin got ejected.
Yeah. But she could have easily been in the autumn vote. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like very easily could have been the autumn vote. So, I mean, you never know what can happen. And like, I think I don't think Monica's the best player, but I think she's definitely one of the most real house guests that I've ever seen on Big Brother. 100%. That's
true. So Will really sets up Krista here before the nominations. He's sitting there talking to Hardy, and him and Krista were talking about what would Will do if he won HOH. And he's like, what should I do? You tell me what to do, Krista. And she's like, why don't we get rid of Hardy? And so he told Hardy that. Krista brought it up. And so that
turned Hardy everything. Off. Oh yeah, that turned everything upside down.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that Hardy believed Will so quickly.
Yeah, like that's how much of a connection he
Charisma,
made. He
yeah, the
made
charisma
with
that he
him.
has with
And
him. I mean, like, cause like, which is crazy to me because like Hardy and Will were literally hate each other at one point in time. Like they were complete opposite sides of the house. You know, would work out together every once in a while. But that was pretty much it. And then now it's like Will's going to him and being like, "Oh yeah, that your number one is after you," and Hardy believes him, just look hook, line, and sinker.
yeah, so we get to where some drama starts. This is after everyone had their like one. Well, I guess Will hasn't had his one-on-one yet with Nicole, but
Mm-mm.
Krista and Monica were out in the hot tub. Krista asks Will, "Hey, will you bring me a beer?" And he does. And then Monica and Krista were pissed at him. Monica's like, "It's on, it's on." And then Krista's like, "You can kiss my ass, Will." And he's like, "What
I was
did
like,
it
I just fucking brought you a beer. Like,
beer?"
what the
Like,
hell?
to be fair, they had a right to be angry with him, but they when he asked, like, "What did I do?" They didn't have they didn't say it to his face. They always said, "Say it
No.
to my face, say it to my face." But when Will directly asked them, they just want to be cryptic and be butthurt because they know they're probably going to go up.
Yeah.
Uh, so Will is like, "All right, whatever. If you want to have adult conversation, let me know, and we can have one. Until then, I'm
Oh,
just gonna
that
leave you guys
yeah,
be."
that made them mad.
Yeah, and then he went and literally told Bunky and Nicole what's going on. He's like, "Nicole, what'd you do? You made him pit. You pissed them off." She's like, "I just told him the truth that they're a power word too." Da, da, da. It's like, girl, like, you don't need to do all that.
The one flaw in her game right now.
Yeah, it. You don't need to be super direct, especially when you're in the power position.
Right.
And it's not like you're blindsiding your number one or two ally. You're not blindsiding them. You're blindsiding people that are danger to you winning the game.
Exactly. And I don't think Nicole was, I mean, everyone knew that Nicole was kind of on the barrier of being on the edge of both alliances anyway. She kind of does her own thing, whatever she sees fit. And I think that it's that week one eviction that she still kind of holds over everyone's head, a little bit of like, you guys, made me feel like shit type of thing. And I don't think it's like directly that's why she's doing those things, but I think that it does have a little bit of a place in the back of their heads where they're like, we hurt her feelings so bad, just a month ago,
Yeah. Krista really starts to
month and a half ago, but
she really starts to get paranoid and spiral out. You see her really just like lose it. It's like the first time she really loses it in the game. Like
yeah.
this way. Like she's cried and stuff like
Well, it's the
that.
first
But
time she's been nominated.
no, she was nominated with
Oh no,
Boogie.
that's right. She was right with Boogie. That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But
But
she knew she wasn't going then. See?
right. Right. So she was very freaking out and just being betrayed by everybody. And even Hardy went to go talk to her. And Chris is like, "You were talking about me, huh?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Why?" Like the entire time, Monica and Krista were like, "Come on to her face. You got something to say." And then when it's turned around, they have nothing to say to everybody else. They're just mad.
Yeah. I mean, they knew there was nothing they could do. They knew that once that those nominations were up, they were had, and that was it. I mean, that was the biggest. I think that's another thing about this season is like the biggest parts are the nominations because it's one of those two people going home. The veto doesn't have, the veto doesn't exist yet, so it's not thrown in to like to shake things up or to have more possibilities. So for me, it's like, oh, cool, two people are up, it's 50-50. And then who's going to go home within the first couple of confessionals. You know what I mean? Like in the
Uh,
sense of like who they're targeting for the week, and then very rarely does it change.
I think the only one that changes so far is the very first one.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone that I think it does. I think the pacing does miss a veto comp to maybe change things up and add a dynamic to the
And they
game.
knew that, and they knew that because they
Yes,
immediately introduced to the next season. So I'm glad
yes,
for that. I'm very glad
yeah,
for that.
and
They
that's the
they
one.
caught that early.
I think the one good thing about early Big Brother is that they see the mistakes and then they try to correct them. Do they
Yes,
always make the right decision? No, but they keep tweaking things
exactly.
to the point where they get to where they want to be. Where Survivor may have a problem and take them 4 or 5 seasons to even tweak it one time.
Yeah.
So, the Big
I
Brother
mean,
really,
let's just look at Survivor like 21 through 24. Like
yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it takes a couple of seasons. That's one thing. Like, but Big Brother does only air once a year, so they do have time to plan the season and things like that. But the beginning of the Big Brother, you see them tweak it as the seasons go on.
Oh,
Tweak,
absolutely.
tweak,
Yeah.
tweak.
Edit.
And so that's the one good thing about that. Will does try to pitch Nicole, let's do Hardy, but she ain't budge on that.
No. Hardy would have been interesting to go here at 6.
I think it would have doomed Nicole.
Yeah, I would have. I think so too. It would have caught. I think she would have reacted to it pretty hard too. I think it would have. I think you're right. I think it would have doomed Nicole, and I think that she would have been by herself. And I don't see Krista or Monica really picking her up and really meaning it in a sense of like where if they made it to final 3, like Krista and Monica are definitely going to pick each other over Nicole. You know what I mean? Like that was for sure going to happen. So I mean, like, you know, she was right in not getting rid of Hardy in that situation. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I think the only one that benefited that move was, I guess it would have benefited everybody but Krista and Nicole. Everybody else would have benefited, but those two.
Yeah.
So we do get the nominations. It is Krista and Monica. Monica's super pissed. She goes on a little tangent at the end and storms off. I get her being angry. It's just like, but then she's like, I really didn't get a fair shot. I'm like, girl, it's halfway through the game.
Yeah.
There's no fair shot. You're not missing.
I think that she has a very unique situation in the sense of like, you know, she's probably close with the same people that she's been close with her whole life type of thing. Mm-hmm. And being around strangers, I mean, she admitted at the beginning that being around strangers was hard enough for her. But you know, being around a bunch of white people too. Like she said that she's never been around this many white people. She never lived with white people. You know, that is a separation for her that she had to adjust and get used to. And then not only that, but for so long, she's on there for so long with those feelings and that, you know, that situation.
But yeah, it pretty much ends episode 17. We start with 18. Pretty similar about Monica taking it really tough.
Oh my God, in my notes, I put Krista and Krista are nominated. I'm so stupid.
I seen that.
Krista and Monica are nominated.
Yeah. So she takes it personally. She thinks it's because of her vote to keep Is it Cheryl? The first week?
Cheryl, yeah.
And it's not the case. Nicole really.
I think that's the only thing that she has to go on though.
But she literally told her, I was like, you guys are a power too, straight to her face, and she still doesn't believe that's why she got nominated.
I know.
It's like she was pretty upfront about why she did what she did. And it was the right move for her.
It was the right move for her. And it was the right move for the house because they broke up that power couple.
Yeah. And yeah, it just was the right move. Monica, she wasn't looking at it a game lens. She was looking at it as a personal lens, and wasn't personal. Nicole was very upset with Hardy about the not being included in Untouchables or even being told about it, which Hardy tries to act like it wasn't a real thing, but it was.
Oh, it totally was. Yeah, it was totally. I thought the same thing. Like Hardy tried to act like it wasn't real, but it completely was real. That was like his number one plan. You know what I mean? There for a while. I do think Nicole is a little outlandish for Nicole to be surprised about that because I think that she should have figured this out by now.
Yeah, but it was. Hardy's such a hypocrite. He's like, oh, I was never loyal to Monica, but literally, there's a scene. I can't remember what episode it was. He looked dead in the eye to Krista. You can tell whatever I tell you to Monica. I don't care. I trust you both. So, like, are you really not?
Hardy's a terrible player.
I don't think he's a terrible player. I just think he's a hypocrite.
Yeah. Hypocrites are terrible players.
That's my big issue with him.
Mm-hmm.
If he was just like, I had to lie. Of course, I wasn't close to them at the time, but things change. Like that's a good player. Him is just he's in denial. But yeah, Monica thinks she's
because he feels too safe. It's because he feels so safe. He knows that he's not with Nicole as the HOH. He's not worried about anything. So he's gonna maybe be a little bit loose at the mouth.
Yeah. Monica thinks she's going. I don't think it was ever. I think it wasn't really up for debate. I think they realized that right when that happened that they probably gonna had to do Krista because of the who was the better player.
Yeah.
She is the better player. She's a better at the comps, HOH competitions. She's a better
She's
social
connected more.
player,
Yeah.
a better strategic player. Monica is very emotional and did a lot of her game moves emotionally.
Yeah.
Uh, Nicole and Will are going to keep their alliance on a DL, which is the right move. But Will is very upset because, like, she told Krista that him, and Hardy had a deal, and it's just like, why are you going to do that? Like, you keep that to yourself, Nicole.
I think Nicole is, like I said, too trustworthy, way too
Yeah.
trustworthy. She's close to everybody in the house. She says that she said it. She feels like the mother, you know. She can't be everyone's friend. That's her problem. She can't be everybody's friend. She tries to be everybody's friend. And she feels close with them in the moment. I'm trying to find them. She feels close to them in the moment, and then gets a little loose lipped, and then here we are.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. They kind of map out Nicole's and Will's relationship, how it progressed little by little, and how things came to pass. And then you have Nicole in the diary room saying, "He's my number one ally."
I know.
Hello. So we kind of had to pause because some unexpected guests showed up at Amanda's house, and
I'm sorry.
it was a big mess. So we just paused from where we left off. We're just gonna finish going over the episodes that we're on. We were like towards the end of 18. Now we're gonna finish 19. So yeah, apologize.
I
That's
do
why
have
an
open. I know I have an open household, so I have tons of people that come and go. Mm-hmm. Friends, family, my mom, all the time. So
and I was really tired that night too, so I was just like, you know what, I'm good. We'll just do it.
Everything just kind of happened at once. Also, my lighting is fantastic today, so.
All right. So where we left off was that Krista and Monica were nominated, and we are going over some things that were going on in the house. The Untouchables were being thrown out by Will and things like that. So we're gonna continue on towards the end where they had fact and fiction luxury competition. I actually don't mind the luxury competitions. Do you mind them?
No, I like luxury competitions. I like this format actually of Big Brother. I mean, I do miss the veto, but I do like I wish it was like nominations, veto, eviction. But I wish that there was also like maybe a food competition thrown in there, or a luxury comp every once in a while, especially the team ones, like all the people who are, I mean, like the team, like as a house together, you win like food for the house. I think those are good.
Yeah, I really enjoy the reason why I enjoy it so much is because you see them have fun. And I feel like that's what's missing from the newer season sometimes, is that you don't see them having that much fun, and this gives them a reason to have fun. And because like there's not a lot going on, so sometimes it gets a little stale. But I do enjoy seeing them have fun and enjoy themselves. So they did a fact and fiction competition. It was pairs. Krista and Monica were together, Bunky and Will, and Nicole and Hardy.
I like this comp.
The winners got to go read a bunch of newspapers about what's been happening and why they've been locked up. And the questions were, did this happen while they've been in the house? Like, did so-and-so win the MVP in the major leagues this year? There's questions like that. So yeah, it was fun. It was facts and fiction. Will and Bunky won. They got to read. Well, Will read for about a minute or so.
Will did not care about that comp at all. I don't think he cares about most luxury comps.
No. But yeah, it was fun to watch him, fair. And I think Nicole takes every loss so tough, and it's just kind of funny.
She really does. Because she's competitive. She's such a strong personality. You know what I mean? So like she has that winning attitude about literally everything.
Yeah. It wasn't really close either because like they got pretty down. Well, they got everyone right. Bunky and Wilt did. Everybody else got at least one
Yeah.
wrong. But we get to go over Bunky's body transformation, which is kind of cool to see
He's
how
lost
much
a lot of weight.
work he's put into and see everything. They do a side by side picture of him during the episode, and you could definitely see the difference.
Oh yeah. You can't. Oh, for sure. Huge difference. Did you see that one? I don't know if we've got this episode yet with that big bullseye shaved in the back of his back.
That's the best.
Every time they're talking about his body transformation, I'm like, talk about a body transformation, him completely shaving a bullseye in his back.
He should just shave everything.
I know.
I don't know why he does
it. A lot of time. I
don't know. I'm glad I'm not that hairy, but good for him. I mean,
dude, I have a friend
he's married, hairy. So like if his partner likes it, then what do I have to say about it? Ultimately. So
agreed.
We do get some trampoline time, and Will goes crazy over it. Krista, they put it up, I'm pretty sure, first thing in the morning, and Krista sees it and runs and immediately wakes up Will. And Will doesn't do anything but just runs in there, doesn't put a shirt on, socks, shoes, or anything. Just runs out there and immediately starts jumping. I love his confessional. He's like, trampoline, trampoline, trampoline.
Dude, but you know what? They've been in that house, for 6 weeks now? Over 6 weeks now?
Yeah.
So, they're bored out of their freaking mind, man. Listen, I remember being in quarantine for 2 weeks, and I wasn't even sick. And I was just for 2 weeks out of my mind. I couldn't imagine having 6 weeks of nothing to do.
See, honestly, if I was ever going to do Big Brother, like, it would be the only part that would be tough for me is missing Mariah and the kids, my wife and my kids. Mainly, like, not that I don't love my wife, but missing my kids, it would be really tough. I'm with them a lot, so not seeing them would be really tough on me. That'd be the hardest part, honestly. I think I could sit there, no problem, but like not being able to talk to my kids, see my kids would be the tough part. So I really can't say because I've never been through it, but
I would literally eat everything. That'd be my problem. I would literally be so bored I'd want to eat, and I can't do that.
See, I think it would be the opposite. I would try to do what Bunky did and just work out with all the meatheads.
Oh yeah. I play pool all the time.
Yeah, swim. Play. Yeah, that's the one thing I do love about the old house is the basketball court. I would be down for that. I love basketball. Yeah, the basketball court. The episode 18 ends with Ophelia leaving. Yeah, everybody's sad.
I'm sad. Little piggy.
So that cute. Squeal, man.
I know. I couldn't do that squeal all the time for sure.
I have kids.
I just love how the pig just pooped in the shower with Nicole. Like, what the?
Oh no, that was Krista.
Oh, Krista, yeah. No, thank you. You know that does not smell good.
No, and you're trapped in that little shower. Early is not much covering.
And everybody has to share that shower.
Yeah.
There's poop in it. No.
I mean, honestly, like, just using the bathroom would be tough with one toilet. Especially in the newer seasons when there's 16 people and you have one toilet.
There's 2 toilets, and because if you count the HOH room.
Oh yeah, but
in the first seasons, but yeah, the first couple of seasons. There was only one bathroom. Oh my god, I couldn't even imagine with 16 people starting out in one bathroom. You can't. Everyone has to get them pee in the morning. You would have be like ninth in line to pee. I would cry. Oh.
So episode 19 begins with Krista knowing that she's leaving. Nicole's not happy because she feels like somebody told her, but it's like, really, why does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know why it matters either, because I think that Monica knew that she wasn't going to go. I mean, I think everybody knew that Krista was going to go.
At first, a lot of people. At first, people thought Monica thought she was leaving, but I think
Monica did, which that's because Monica hasn't done much, and she knows that. So like, she's like, oh yeah, like she has said it. Like, I know I'm not going to win, so you know what I mean. I think that's part of the reasons why she's still there, because they know that she's not going to win.
Right. So we get to. I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand why she's angry. It's not like people were going to be blindsided on the half the house where it got leaked out that way. Like, if it's a unanimous vote, then why does it matter?
Right.
Monica and Krista have their family interviews and get to hear what they're about. it's nice to see. It's cool to see where their background is because they're so different, but they click so well.
Oh, I know. They were really tight in the house, and they were tight early. I mean, I don't think they were as tight as like what Monica and Hardy were at the very beginning, but I think
Krista
that they grew.
or Hardy.
No, I mean Monica and Hardy were close too, though, because
Yeah.
Monica was part of the Untouchables.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were really close too, and I think that Hardy was close with Monica, and then Hardy was close with Krista, and that's what brought them two together to like, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, we get to get to know a little bit about them, and everybody starts thinking about the money because it's the top 6 now, or halfway through. But
my yawn is showing how I feel about the season. I'm so ready for the season to be fucking over. She's like, I'm not as bad as like you and AO, because I know that you hate AO now. But man,
AO
so
legit
for me without the veto.
AO is a legit bottom 5 season for me.
I don't think I have it that low, but
I guess when we go through it, I might change my mind. But as of right now, there's not a lot.
As of right now, it's pretty bad.
There's not a lot of other seasons I could think of that were worse.
Dude, I don't want to watch Marquesas.
We're not even close. We're not close. Oh, I guess.
Yeah, we are, dude. It's only like 2 seasons away from Marquesas. Oh, Marquesas is so boring.
But anyway, let's get back. There's a live vote, the first ever live vote, and they're voting out. They get their little pleas on why I should stay, yada yada yada. But that's about it. Really nothing else there. Nicole talks about her game arc of how she started from the bottom and now she's kind of worked her way towards the top, which she's done really well.
She's played a great game.
She's like her worst enemy though. Like she played, she makes it 10 times harder for herself just the way she acts.
Yeah, she gets really upset with the house over not helping her do chores or like she gets annoyed with Will really easily, and she gets annoyed with almost everybody really easily, except for like Monica. I don't think she's really complained too much about Monica, but I mean, other than that, I mean, I think that Nicole has done a really good job in this game, and I think that out of everyone for Will to go to the final 2 with, she had a chance to beat him. I really do. Yeah. I think that he could have taken anyone else except for maybe Hardy to the end and won against them. But I think that Nicole was a good contender to go against. I think that was a worthy contender to go against.
Yeah, the problem with her is that she burned bridges and was rude to people on the way out at times. Yeah. And you can't do that when people are leaving and voting for you out.
Sorry. Yeah.
So they're voting for you to win. You can't do that on their way out. That's where jury manage. I'm not a huge jury management person, but you can't be a complete jackass to somebody on their way out.
No, you can't.
And
which is why Russell hasn't won, which is why Paul hasn't won. I mean, we have those players that we've seen across the community, both BB and Survivor. You just play too hard and your personality is too brash and it doesn't help you. What were you saying?
Yeah, no, Paul? I was saying Paul lost because he continued to lie when people knew the truth after the world. But you can't. But he was also rude sometimes to people too. Well, at least in 18 he was.
In 19 he was too towards the end.
Yeah. We get an HOH interview. Nicole talks about how her placement is good and her relationships with everybody in the house is really good besides Monica.
Her arc is great. I'm glad they went over it.
Yeah. She said that she feels justified in putting on Krista because she felt betrayed by her with the Untouchables thing, which I understand, but betrayed is not the right word. Threatened probably is the right word, but betrayed. Yeah. I mean, you guys weren't a thing yet, so like
not solidified.
Right. But yeah, and after that we get the vote. It's 3-0. Krista stands up and is like, no, nobody get up. Will, Monica, come on. Monica takes it tough. She starts crying.
Dude, yeah, she did not want her to go. She was breaking down. But that was her only, like her closest friend that was walking out of the house. Like, she knew that.
And Will apologized that he felt really bad that he didn't give her a vote and he felt like he needed to. And she said, look, not voting for me wasn't the cowardly thing. You selling me out to them was what I'm really disappointed in, which he
Yeah.
did. He did that 100%.
He did. Oh, 100%. And he knew he did.
Yeah. And she goes, I know you came in here lying. I respect that, but that was cowardly. That was the thing I'm disappointed in, not the you voting me out.
How do you feel about people who tell them not to get up?
Say again?
How do you feel about people who tell the other house guests to like sit while they leave? Like, don't get up and say bye to me.
I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, what they're leaving. So like, if you don't listen to, especially if they're giving you a vote, like you do what they said. You don't
I guess
piss
that's
them off.
true.
Because guess what? If you're gonna stand up and ruin their moment, because this is their moment, they're leaving.
Right.
You're just gonna make anger her more. Like if Nicole forced her way over there, what do you think Krista's gonna do? Sit there, she's already pissed at her.
Right. She's already mad. Right. That makes sense. I mean, like, cause like I've seen it before where like people just exit the house without saying anything, or people like just like you're like, oh, like don't say bye to me, like blah blah blah. And sometimes I think it's kind of like petty, you know what I mean? Like, don't be that way. I understand that people are bitter and that happens. But like, I don't know. I think if I was voted out, I would still be like, okay, like come say bye to me because we just spent 60 something days together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I get what you're saying.
You hear the
But
fireworks in the
is
background.
it is what?
You hear the fireworks in the background?
Yeah, I heard it a little bit.
Okay. Sorry guys.
No, it's fine.
July times,
It is what it is. I mean, it's her moment at that point. I say let her do whatever she wants. She did say on her way out, congratulations, Nicole, on final 2, because she felt like she had it locked up, and she pretty much is right. So
yeah, she's right, 100%.
But yeah, there's not really a ton more to say about these episodes that we haven't already went over because but it was the most I don't know, I say fall from grace so far of the nominations, because I think Kent wasn't in the best position, Shannon was in the best position, Boogie wasn't, but Krista was in a really good position, and then all of a sudden
all
got
of the
nominated.
worthy players are left. All of the worthy players are left, and now it's going to be like, you know what I mean, like who's going to be the one to win. It's going to be a tough competition. I think they're realizing that. Come here, Bubby. And they're starting to realize that, and plus they've made connections to all these people. They've been stuck in a small house together for 2 months. Like you bond during that time, and it is like I made a note like how personal this season is. Like everyone is so connected and takes everything so personal and swears on people and swears on families, and it's just like this type of Big Brother is different than now. It's not as personal. It's not as connecting and to me to you. You know what I mean? As it was back then.
I do feel like with all the twists and turns, it ruins a little bit of connections. But like these older seasons, you definitely see the connection people make with each other, and it's very very tight, and like I said, this is new. This is all new, so people don't know what this is like, and like living in a small space like that. It's one thing in Survivor where you can go walk away. Like here, you really can't walk away from anybody.
They can follow you wherever you go, pretty much.
Yeah. So like you're trapped in this area. And the house isn't very big. Like it's not a tiny house. But it's not
it's smaller than the Big Brother house now. Because if you guys didn't know, you guys watching didn't know, the Big Brother house changes after season 6. Right? They change it for All Stars. I believe.
No, they change it at 6.
Oh, they changed it at 6.
And
that's
then
right. That's
it's
right.
From here on.
So
it's the
from
house
BB
on
1 through 5 is like the size of like a small 1-story home.
So it's very interesting. It's fun, and when you get to All Stars and see the people who haven't seen this house, like man, they got it good.
They have a way bigger house now than what they did in the beginning,
for sure,
which is needed, 100% needed.
Yeah. All right, well,
dude, I can't wait for the season with like the secret doors and stuff like in the walls, and I'm so excited.
Well, that's gonna end our coverage for the episodes 17 through 19. We are gonna be back with we're gonna talk about the cast. We're very eager about Big Brother 23 cast.
Yes, it starts. I mean, in our time right now, it starts in 5 days. This might be posted a little bit later, but we're super, super excited to watch.
Yeah, and we are going to do a Big Brother draft. We have to sit down a time with the people we are going to draft. We're going to draft with.
And you guys remember our AO guests, Michael and Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones we're drafting with.
Mm-hmm.
Because they love us.
Yeah.
They love playing with us.
We'll see. We'll have to come up with like a little wager or something fun.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you. Bye.